Hey guys, hey, welcome to the InEarthgie Show. I am your host, Chi Smith. Listen, we have a wonderful treat for you guys tonight. Listen, grab your husbands, your children, grab your neighbors. I don't care, but make it happen. Guys, today is Tuesday. You made it yet another day, and we so appreciate you spending your evening with the. Listen, you guys know what we do, how we do it here. We have fun while learning. Why? Because learning is important, and you never know what you're going to learn here at the InEarthgie Show. We're bringing balance to an unbalanced lifestyle. And what better way than to write things down, to remind you of what you learned on tonight. So maybe you can share, or maybe you can meditate on it later on in life, right? Or maybe tomorrow, or maybe later on tonight. So let's not ponder any longer. Let's kick the show off.
She's sugary, she's spice. She is everything plus nice. Take her one-on-one class and she provides the best advice. She'll take you down to the trenches, but only to lead a new way. Only for the sake of you and your legacy to establish a new day. Let's give a warm welcome to the Chief Reprimand and the Supreme Hugger, Chi Smith.
Hey guys, and welcome to the InEarthgie Show. I am your host, Chi Smith, wellness care coach, founder of InEarthgie. Listen, guys, here at the InEarthgie Show, we're all about balance. We're all about bringing balance to an unbalanced lifestyle. Okay, what does that mean? Oftentimes, we're out of alignment. Sometimes we're out of alignment because we haven't lined up with our divine purpose here on this earth. And so when we come here every Tuesday night, we share great information with you. We share what you can do, not only with yourself, but how you can help your neighbor, how you can help your coworker, how you can help someone that you are necessarily associated with, affiliated with, because it's all about a domino effect, right? We learn for ourselves first so that we can give it to, and what? So that others can give it to others. It's truly a domino effect. And if we can grasp that particular concept, things will be better. We will see change and we will absolutely get what we so desire, right? So, with that being said, we have two wonderful guests on tonight. Now, listen, I am just truly thrilled. This is going to be an authentic show. And yet again, you're going to learn some things, I can guarantee you. And I've learned some things even just by being with them, knowing them, watching them, observing them. And as far as I'm concerned, we're friends. Maybe that's in my head, but I feel they're friends. And to see what they do on a daily basis, what they do on a weekly basis, what they do when the cameras aren't rolling, my goodness, I really hope that you guys are inspired tonight to make some change. Let's say that. Okay. So without further ado, let me introduce to you the founders of Servanthood Day, Nathaniel and Brianna. Stand.
How are you? Hi, how you doing?
We're awesome. I am awesome. Listen, thank you guys so much for being with us today here at the InEarthgie Show. Look, you're already showing love. Y'all so close. Okay, you just exuding love on the camera. I'm telling you. Listen, guys, let us know where you're tuning in from. Okay, because I know that Denver's have a really big community. The InEarthgie crew, the InEarthgie Show has a very big community. So we really hope that you guys like, and share, as well as let us know where you are tuning in from, because that's very important. Because the mission here, and you guys will hear, I'm sure, that it is all about outreach. It's all about reaching all four corners of this here thing called Earth. So again, without further ado, let me introduce to you Nathaniel and Brianna. Stand up for guys. Introduce yourselves. Let us know who you is.
All right. Well, hey, look, some things just never change. I feel like, hey, tradition, ladies first.
So I am Brianna Standifer. I'm the wife of Nathaniel Standifer. We've been married for 13 years. We've been knowing each other for over 15 to 20. 15 to 20.
Yeah, 15 to 20 hours. That sounds like a sentence. 15 to, you're serving 15 to 20.
15 to 20. We've known one another. And we met in high school. We were not high school sweethearts, but we did meet in high school.
And, 13 years, and it's been a while. I'm here to tell the story of what we have done, accomplished over the last 13 years.
Wow, amazing! 13 years. Listen, and that ain't no prison time. Okay, listen, this is some good time spending with one another.
No. Right. Absolutely.
Listen.
Absolutely.
So okay, 13 years, but overall, how much is it overall?
We've known each other since we met our freshman year of high school. Mm-hmm. So it's been 20 years that we've known one another.
Right. We met each other at 14 and we're 34, so 20 years exactly.
Yeah.
My word. Okay. Now,
yeah.
Listen, guys, y'all. I hope y'all got y'all pen and paper. Y'all know here at the InEarthgie Show, we learn, baby. Listen, 20 years all together. Some of y'all can't even make it past 12 months. Okay, so look. We love each other here on the InEarthgie Show. They know it's all love. Now, with that being said, we're here to talk about love tonight. That's the first category. L-O to the V to the E. And, listen, some people start off with liking and then growing into loving. Some people love instantly, don't like you, and then learn to love you again. Let us know, according to the Standifers, what is love? And
well, I'll start. What is love? So I will define it for us with our marriage. It's sacrifice. It's unconditional, patient. It's embracing change. It's a lot of things. You when you go into a relationship and you've been in a relationship this long, it's redefined as time goes on because your needs change. But most importantly, I think it's this willing to be sacrificial.
Yes. I believe also our identity in love is, regardless of how broken or how dirty you get, we both each carry this cloth, authentic love that will get us clean and right regardless. And that's assurance and that's insurance when you're in a relationship. So love to us is being transparent with one another. Love to us is being understanding in the times of transition. That, hey, I know that you may be hurting and I know that you may have hurt me, but we both carry this thing together that we can add to each other. We can clean each other up and make each other healthy again because we're one. That's our definition of it.
Okay, y'all coming out the gate swinging on this one, and I'm loving every bit of it. Listen, because Okay, becoming one. We are one. So clearly somewhere in this journey, that was the mission, was to become one and operate as one unit. We don't see that a lot in this thing called marriage and or unions, if you will, because sometimes the preconceived notion is I'm a separate entity from the person that I said I do to. What are your thoughts?
I think that we're taught other. When we become one, that doesn't mean that we don't have our own identity. That doesn't mean that I'm not who I am and he's not who he is, and that we have to stop being our core. Becoming one means that we're on the same page, that we're working towards the same goal, that when we make decisions, that we talk to one another and consult one another and see how the other person feels about it and get their perspective. So I think people get confused that oneness doesn't mean that you stop being you or that you conform to who they are. I mean, you're a better one when you have, I believe we bring balance to one another. So I feel like becoming one is bringing your strengths and bringing your weaknesses and making those things better. So I think it's about perspective, how we're taught to look at oneness. I think that makes a difference.
That part.
Oh, so then why do you think, loaded question, why do you think we're not taught that? Because look, you guys are married, I'm married, I have years as well with my spouse. However, you know, there are different stories out there. And so I'd like to understand from you guys' perspective, again, we're talking about love, and we love a lot of things. I love nice clothes. I like, you know, I love for my bank account and my stocks to be looking at, right? But when we're talking about an individual that is different from us, whether we have the teachings or not, what is it that really has to stick out, and or what is really that component that we have to grasp in order to operate in what Nathaniel said earlier, patience? And you said it too, Brianna. What is that thing you guys would say is that component?
You want me to take this one or you want me to take this one? Patience. Well, I think understanding the commitment that you make when you get married. You can't go in with expectations that are unrealistic. And unfortunately, when you go in with expectations, many times you're disappointed. Marriage is going like this. And our models for marriage are perfect.
That's right.
So we but we know that wasn't it. And it taught us tools to use as we go through the process. I think the patience about commitment. I committed my entire life to you, understanding that you were perfect. So there are seasons where it's going to require more patience from you. So that kind of that give and take.
Wow. So that sounds like a support system.
Most definitely.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're talking about marriage. If there is no support, there's no system. You know, like that. Without the support, there's no system. I mean, you can try to run it, but it's not going to work because it derives off of support. So without support, there is no system.
Yeah.
But wait a minute, you know, grandmama stated she didn't get no support from grandpa. You know, grandpa put up with grandma and all her shenanigans.
Well, but under all of that, how healthy was it? You know, people like, you know, we're numbers driven. This world that we live in, Race, you have room. In that 4 years, you have someone to push you away. You have think of those types of questions.
Man. Okay. I'm digging all of that. I mean, you know, and again, guys, if you just tuned in, welcome to the Inner Chi Show. I'm your host, Chi Smith. We have the wonderful Nathaniel and Brianna Standifer here, gracing us with knowledge and wisdom. Did we lose him? Okay. I think we lost our team here. Hang on. We are talking about love, guys. Love, love, love. And as our lovebirds are returning, again, thank you so much for tuning in to the host, Chi Smith. We are here to bring balance to an unbalanced lifestyle. I hope you have your pen and paper. We're all about learning here. And we love to learn because, listen, learning is fundamental. Seriously. But we have a wonderful, wonderful couple here that have created not only their standard of love and creating that right union, but it's not just them two, guys. They have babies, they have children. Okay. Yeah. And with having a history of 20 years, 20 years, and made a decision to be each other's support system, even if you're not feeling well, even if you may not always agree, even if you don't always understand. You guys made a conscious decision to walk this path together, define your own term of love, and then you brought children into the factor.
Absolutely. 2 of them.
2 babies.
2 babies. A beautiful son and a beautiful daughter. Guys, I've met them. They are beautiful children, well-mannered. You see just love written all over them, which is awesome, because when you see that in the babies, you know that they're getting that from mommy and daddy. And I love that. Okay. Hands down, 1000%. So yeah, pleasure on mine. Help me understand though, when children come into the equation, can we be real?
Yes, we can be.
It brings a different dynamic in this union.
Yes, it does.
Help me understand, when you guys agreed to expand your family and then the baby's now here, and then the baby grows, and then the baby gets a personality, and the baby costs money and all these different things. How do you guys navigate keeping that support system amongst yourselves and yet providing what your babies need? How do you balance that?
Well, I feel like I'm going to take the lead on this one.
That's fine with me.
First and foremost, if you are a parent, there comes responsibilities with being a parent. And what you deemed as first as a priority is no longer the priority. So brunching is no longer a priority. Football game nights with the fellas is no longer a priority. But here's the thing. You cannot come to that conclusion on your own. You must sit with your spouse and have that conversation out loud. Because sometimes, when we get into the mix of life, we often need that moment to not only process alone, but take it past that and then verbalize what we've processed out loud with the person that we're sharing the responsibility with. So I feel like it all comes out, honestly, to understanding understanding as one, back to that one again, that we as one have one priority at this moment, and it's not what we deem as a priority.
And I think also it's including them, because I know we didn't have that conversation out loud in the beginning. We thought it was just known and assumed, but it's a change. You don't get as much attention. I mean, especially when they're smaller, the focus is on what they need.
Absolutely.
And how do you balance the needs of your husband, the needs of your wife? She's changing, hormonal changes, everything is changing, and it's not, a short transition. So we have to start having those conversations. What are your expectations
right now?
Right in this moment.
Right in this moment, because the expectations will change as the baby gradually grows. Okay, because from baby to toddler, from toddler to adolescence, preteen to teenager, and then they're an adult. So as the child is growing, the expectations are growing as well.
Adolescent.
We spoke on Sunday what should be.
Should, would,
and could are dangerous words to use, but nonetheless, it's having that conversation with your spouse. And having that conversation out loud. So now you're no longer drifting with uncertainties in communication, because it's been approved by you both as one that this is now the ultimate problem. And then encompassing the time that you spend with your kids and including them. But first, attach yourself to your primary responsibility in the problem.
Wow. So then walk me through, how did you guys communicate with your children on when it was the proper time for mommy and daddy, right? Because listen, we're helping people tonight who have families, who have children, and it was good. The early parts of marriage was good, and then comes the kids. Okay, to your point, they get older, and now we're incorporating them so much so that maybe the husband and wife aren't getting out as much anymore. They're not dating each other anymore. They're not creating date night at home. They're not finding, a nanny or the right sitter for the kids so that they can have their time to go vacation together or whatever. How did you guys have that conversation with your children that mommy and daddy too have to have their time in order to be the best mommy and daddy? Back to you.
Do you want to? But we're both going to speak on it, but I'm going to let my wife go first, because she may say exactly what I'm going to say. So I'll let her have this one, then I'll come back.
I mean, honestly, we have a culture where we're very honest with our kids.
Exactly.
Because we want it to be clear. Like, we don't want it misinterpreted. So we would tell them, even as they got a little, probably when they were about 8, my son's about 8 or 9. So his sister made him about 4 or 5. It's mommy and daddy time. So this is what this looks like. And we explained what that looked like, whatever that may be. So that may be we watch a movie in the room with the door closed. Or that may be that you both go to your rooms and watch a movie, but don't come out. You've had dinner, you had a snack, or maybe give them a snack. But during this time, you cannot come out. If you come, we create a culture so they understood me and son time and daddy and daughter time. We have alone time.
Right.
We also have mommy that we have to that we can be better parents for you. Mommy can be happy wherever they are as far as understanding things emotionally and just naturally wherever their learning is. So if they're 8 years old, they understand. In my case, the best we need time where it's just us. We're very straightforward with them about that, and we still are. It just looks older.
So that's what we did. We communicated effectively to our kids what the expectations, and and let me add something that a lot of people, some couples, not people, we're talking about couples here, married couples at that. It's usually one spouse is for the kid and the other one's like, I don't know yet, and then the other one's like, I haven't done what I want to do yet. No, and then that's going to meet, and this and but here's the thing. Here's the secret. Chief. If you allow them to help you identify the culture of the home, it's a win-win. Children will literally help create the culture of the home because there was a culture before they got there. So we're not excusing them to have influence or impact in our home or our culture because they're part of us. How are we going to culture until you break a rule, or we can't build that culture unless it's mommy and daddy time, because now this is understood how culture works. And then we go and people say you have to
Can you guys hear me?
you can.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I thought you guys lost me. Okay, so you mentioned the word that I am so glad you said, and that was culture. And then you said, allow the children to help you create the culture. But before you said that, you said that there was already a culture before the kids.
Absolutely.
So I wonder, I wonder how
Speak
many
on
of us are not creating the culture before the kids. And or I often wonder, do you have any culture even by yourself? You know, like
that part.
whether you're a single parent, whether you had a child, you know,
That's
whether
right.
your
That's
family
right.
was
That's
created.
right.
Listen, families are not traditional anymore. You have, you know, single parents who then marry and then they create a family, and or you got two single people who had children already creating now blended families. Some families may look traditional where nobody had kids before and then boom, you got kids. But at the end of the day, I have to wonder, what was your foundation before you even created and or expanded your family? And with you making that statement that you guys already had a foundation. And so I'm concerned. Yeah, I'm concerned that a lot of households, a lot of places in society are lacking culture, are lacking a foundation, are lacking some type of standards before the family, if you will, expands. Because if you don't have a standard, that's even before you get married. Entertaining somebody, what is your standard? Because oftentimes if you don't have a standard before you meet that significant other, you're going to probably experience some woes along the way, that you didn't anticipate. So I love the fact that there was already a standard, and you guys made a vow out loud together that with expanding this family, the children too will be a part of what we already had and or what we already started building. Man. So what advice or recommendations would you give families who have already created the families, have already expanded the families, and maybe they're in a place of I don't want to say struggling, but at a place where they need an impartation, if you will, from the standards to give, so that maybe they can now create that culture in their home, within their families, with their children. What recommendations, what advice would you give to those families?
Ooh, well, that's a very broad question. But I'm gonna put it like this. I'm gonna be completely honest because you promised you promised the audience that it was gonna be raw and authentic, and so I want to be exactly that. The reality is that first you have to be sure that you're compatible with the person that you're spending the rest of your life with. You really have to ask yourself that question. Seriously, it's like, you may not be on 10 across the board, but is there compatibility? And my wife and I have extreme compatibility. And that has been the driving force. Like, I don't really get much into signs and stuff like that. Bill Capricorns. We have some cats. But the compatibility is important. And then after that, it's about what do you guys want to achieve? Like, what do you want to do together? If you already created something, it's going back to say, okay, what's the root of who we are? What do we stand on? And it's no secret, my wife and I, we stand on God. I promise you, Chi, if I'm glad that we're getting our kudos and pats on the back, and that's great. But you're looking at two people that shouldn't be on the call or the show. Sorry, because we've endured some things that most people do not come back from. I'm serious right now. We've had some major uphill battles, and most of them were external, but they affected us internally. So it wasn't immediate, but it was extended family grief and loss, and it was a lot. But I would say to anyone who's looking to create a culture and you're shifting pieces, just of course, going back to that word patient, be patient, because that's what love is. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love doesn't take score. So you have to pull out your love basket and you have to reach in there and get that patience piece. Because, let's say you're before and now you're being married and, Susan made really good spaghetti. Now, Dan can't make spaghetti at all. I'm being honest. But I think we have to now recreate a culture, because both came from different cultures. And if you're willing to be patient and put in the time, you'll build a masterpiece with God's help.
Oh, wow.
And I think also what you value. What do you value individually, and where do you find common ground? Because I know he talked about compatibility, and some people think because change happens, they're no longer compatible with that person.
Oh, wow.
And that's not necessarily true. It's just that you have to grow together.
Absolutely.
The person he married for 13 years ago, I'm not the same person.
Yeah, I'm not
and he is not the same person.
Not the same person.
And so to create a culture means being open for growth, not saying this is how we're going to do it and this is how it's going to stay and that's it. That's not realistic if you want a healthy marriage or if you want a healthy culture in your home, because you're growing and changing, your spouse is growing and changing, your children are growing and changing. So you have to leave space for change and growth. So this focus on one area worked for the first 5 years, but we're different and now we have kids. So what is our next focus? And being able to recognize when changes, you can smell it. Like we're in that. We can, because we've been together so long, you can anticipate
absolutely
that changes happening, and now we can get ahead of our struggles was that we didn't realize that big changes happening. We had conflict. But if we had gotten ahead of it, it would have made it so much easier in the transition. Transition is hard, but it'll make it easier. You communicate better. You can kind of get on the same page and give that person space to kind of figure it out. So I think that's also very important.
Wow. Evolution is something. It's something. Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah. I'm laughing. Because I'm just so in agreement with that, because guys, it's amazing that man or woman can have these preconceived notions that who you were at 23, you're going to be that same person at 53.
Nice.
And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
would you want me to have grown and have matured and have different perspectives?
Yes.
Go ahead, Nathaniel. Go ahead.
But you would be surprised at how many people answer that question no.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's keep in mind, one of our, as humans, one of our fears is that we will not have someone to we will not have
Companionship.
companionship. It's not companionship. There's this study about if you really want to torture someone, a whole lot of and mind be touched. Are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wow.
Can't hear.
Yeah, I got you guys. Can you hear?
Okay. Okay.
Awesome. No, man, y'all listen, if you just tuned in, the first half of the show, man, y'all got to go back and catch the replay. Let's thank the
Right.
I am. We have our special guest, founders of Just People.
Right. Hello. You there? I know what she's about to change. What do you want me to change?
Can y'all hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Guys, I think we lost our, let's see here.
Here we go.
Yeah, you know what? Because we talking about some good stuff, and somebody mad. These networks,
It's all right.
Somebody is mad, but we gonna get it though.
That's right. We're gonna get it. But listen, the last thing you said was talking about wouldn't you want me to change? Wouldn't you want me to grow? And what we've observed and what we've seen is that some people really they don't really. So relationship just means that I watch TV every day with you, and you come home and you're not really that goes back to important to have that. I'm literally about to deal with the rest of my life with somebody else, which means it's going to come with their opinions, their flaws, it's going to come with mistakes, it's going to come with. So how compatible are we? You know what I mean? And some people don't, two people together don't really want to change. Great. That means y'all are both super happy because none of y'all wanted to change.
But the reality with that is someone may want to change.
That part. Someone may want to change. And then what happens is we're talking that brings conflict.
Mm-hmm.
That brings conflict.
Wow.
because now that person has to say, hey, I know we used to doing it like this, but I've made a change in here, whatever the change may be. And then now that here goes that selfish part and that patient part, like, why does person want to start doing this? We've been doing it this way for blah, 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 but it's a reason why that person is changing, because maybe the choice that this person is making is going to bring some healthiness and create healthy relationship, because one person is trying to grow, which means subconsciously or spiritually, this person recognizes like, we ain't moving. Time is moving, but we're not. People are moving, we're not. Things are moving, times are moving, but we're not. So it may be instinctive within that one, someone starts making that, and then boom, there's
Yeah. So, you know, with that, again, as you guys know, I'm a wellness care coach, and I see a lot of clients, whether premarital, marriage counseling, people who are, just dating and trying to figure out, is this the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with? And, sometimes it's been for a short period of time, sometimes it's been for a long period of time. And one of the things, to your point, that we see often is an imbalance in the relationship, meaning maybe one of the individuals received a few nuggets, and some seeds was dropped, and it matured and it grew up to be something, and the other person may not have received those seeds at that time. And so there may be a bit of imbalance. But one of the questions that we often inquire with the couples is, number one, are you willing to be patient while the other person is growing? And so if the answer to that is yes, then of course we have something to work with. Now, with that being said, we often have to ask, are you even happy with the growth that you're seeing from the other individual? Because some people are growing, but maybe they growing to the west instead of to the north. They're going that way. They look turn and get, for those people who love plants, you gotta, tie that, rope around and then some string to kind of bring it back into alignment so it can grow right, because it may be a little imbalance. To the side. And so I love what I do, and I am just loving what you guys are sharing, because a lot of even the nuggets that you guys are sharing and the seeds that you're dropping tonight is going to take root, because it's being sown into good ground. One of the reasons, again, why I want you guys to come on here is because I do believe in today's time we are having a challenge in our homes against, the man and the woman and or families all together. What is a family? People are canceling families. People feel like they don't need a family. They can do these things on their own. They can live life by themselves. And or people have become complacent, and or people have just lost hope that maybe there isn't any good out there. I've missed my chance. I'm going to die alone. I mean, my word, right? I mean, listen,
man, that's major.
We're talking about real things. And again, I'm sure we may have to do a part 2, especially with these airwaves tripping tonight. But we may have to do a part 2, because we really need to dig a little deeper into how you guys have overcome what you are able to share. Because I do believe with you guys being in your early 30s and yet still have a 20-year story, there are people that are watching this show tonight and or will catch the replay and had already given up. You may have some people that are, 40s, 50s, and 60s and may have given up. So you guys are dropping these seeds tonight to let people know what can be done in order to achieve that successful union, if you so desire. Let me just say this, whomever is watching, God has not forgotten about you. Okay. If the word says that he will give you your heart's desires, but the question is, what do you desire? You have to be able to pinpoint that put that black and white on the paper and tell your God, your creator, okay, what it is that you so desire in this present moment. And
Yes.
and so draw a line down the middle. And on the other side, you got to be real with God and be like, okay, now this is where I am. Okay, because God will give you what you so desire, but are you ready to receive it?
That
Because
part.
God can very well bring your king and your queen. Okay, and guess what? You weren't ready.
Right. Right.
Okay, so you know, and or
And
because you
or.
weren't honest with God, where you were when you wrote down your heart's desires, when that king or queen comes, you feel a bit of agitation. You feel a
Mm.
little bit agitation, right? Now, first of all, growth is not comfortable. Okay, if you
No,
ever
it's not.
YouTube how a seed takes root in the ground, baby, it's busting through all kinds of stuff. It's pushing dirt over here. It's getting in the way of other roots, and it's doing this little number here, percolating up out the ground. All this stuff just for growth. And so,
Just
as
for
you
growth.
Just
are
for
waiting on your king and queen, as you are desiring your king and queen, as you are allowing God to work on you, just know that you are not forgotten. You're not forgotten. The Standarders are here to share with you tonight that with 20 years in the game and yet still being a young couple, as the old folks say, oh, you young, y'all still young. Okay. That's what the old folks say. But to have 20 years and listen and still and we'll go beyond that.
oh yeah.
But the things that they've dropped tonight is creating that right foundation, being patient with one another, communicating out loud to each other,
Yes.
including your babies in what this empire is supposed to look like.
Yes.
Right? My word. I hope you guys were jotting this information down, okay? Because I was, as I was asking questions and all of that, okay? And again, it's things that I may know too, but everybody doesn't know that. Hence, while we bring balance to an unbalanced lifestyle, you may currently be married right now. You may currently be engaged. You may be in the early stages of your relationship. The Standardverse are here to tell you this is how you can create the right ... for you. For you. There's, listen, we can talk about books all day. There are books out there, but let me tell you something. The word also says that there are many members, but one body. So
One
that
body.
means you might operate as a finger and your significant other may operate as a big toe. Now, we all know if you lose that big toe,
All balance is up.
whole balance is off. But the big toe has a big role.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
so does the thumb. And so does the elbow. And so does the ear. Right? So once you understand who you are and what role you play in your relationship,
Mm-hmm.
you guys can then build from there. You can find some
Yes.
commonality. Brianna shared that earlier. You find some common ground. Even though you may seem that you're opposites, there's still yet some common ground because you came together for a reason.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, gosh. I'm loving this. Okay. So we talked about love, y'all. We talked about family. Now, help us understand. You guys have this wonderful, beautiful organization that you guys have been doing for a number of years, and you guys are impacting the community like crazy. And so I really want to make sure that the people understand what you guys are doing. The name of your organization is Servanthood Serve Today. Help the people understand how did that come about? And what is it that, what's your mission behind that? Who is your audience? And why should people know about you?
Okay. Thank you, Chi. So we have always had a heart to serve. Even growing up, we volunteered. And as our kids got older, we wanted them to be exposed to that. giving, seeing the less fortunate, understanding how blessed they are, but also understanding that's important for them to give back in the areas that they could. So we've worked with a number of organizations over the years, just volunteering. But what we realized is that we had ideas and we wanted to get creative, and you have limitations when you're serving with someone else's organization. So we continue to partner as a family. We've done some homeless work with West End downtown, all four of us with the kids. We bring them with us. We've done, work with JTC Exchange. They do mentorship for kids, and they also have a prison ministry. So we've connected with a lot of different nonprofits. Yeah, youth with some Sulphur Springs. So mentorship groups, and my husband's written a sixth grade mentoring program that we used in the Arlington ISD. So as we were moving, we were saying we need to start our own nonprofit. And this was my husband's vision, because he was saying, I just want to serve the people. Our needs in the community. We don't see a lot of active nonprofits where we live. We live in Lancaster. You don't see a whole lot of activity when it comes to nonprofit community work. You see it in other surroundings. We did not see it heavily in Lancaster. So we decided that that would be our focus, that although we will partner outside of our community, we wanted to start at home first. So that's where the school drive was birthed. And from that, we pick up trash on the weekends, and we're preparing to do a trash campaign so that people are more aware and knowledgeable and have a desire to keep the city clean. There's some areas where you won't see any, and some areas where it's terrible. And we want, as a unit, people to be more aware. And we call it, we haven't given it the official name yet, but we call it Clean It Up. Because as you use that as a platform, you can also talk about cleaning up your lives, cleaning up your relationships. So connecting volunteering and taking care of your community with also taking care of yourself and your families. So that's and so it's not just single parent households. It's not just the homeless or the less fortunate. It's whoever has a need. And so we have a large event quarterly to serve a need. And then we partner with organizations in different areas to help them with their mission, as long as it aligns with ours. And I don't know, you may want to, give a little background on the name Servanthood, where that came from, because that was all you.
Yeah, well, as my wife said already, that's who we are. How the name Servanthood come about? As it from my childhood, honestly. I'm the oldest of three boys, and my father was in the ministry. He pastored for several years, and I just remember my father teaching me life lessons. And those life lessons were all about serving people. My dad would notice that even when I would be in my Sunday's best, dress, when we go to church and look our best, he would still make us get dirty and pick up stuff, because it ain't about what you wear. It's not about how you look. It's not about the brand of clothing. It's about your heart behind the clothes. And that was a driver. That was our culture. So I'm an offspring of that culture. We were servants. When the boys showed up, when Nathan and the boys showed up, we get to work. We will clean your house, clean your garage. We will we'll walk your dogs, whatever you need, whatever is the need at hand. We would do that, and that's where the name Servanthood came from. And if you are still watching, I know there's people still watching. And in this moment, I'm going to take the advantage. There's something I wanted to speak to the people who are watching, Chief. It's going back to culture. And I'm so glad that you did express that we're dropping some nuggets. But I believe that the Spirit is leading me to drop a gem. And I believe that if you are single, perhaps maybe you haven't created a culture with God. And maybe He's saving you from something because you don't have an identity with Him yet. Maybe you don't have a culture yet. So how would He allow someone to come into your life and you don't even have a culture? You'll stand for anything. You'll do anything. You'll compromise anything because you don't have a culture. So when you have culture, then there comes compatibility. Then comes the strategy to success.
Wow. Okay. Amazing. Guys, gems all night long. Gems. Gems. Because Nathaniel, you're telling me that because your father created a culture with you and your siblings, that created a level of foundation within you as you met your queen. I'm sure
Yeah,
some of
absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
foundation.
Because listen, Chi, let me tell you, in serving, I had my culture was serving. So when I met my wife, I was like, oh, this right here, this hey, listen. The friends I grew up with, the true story, their dads weren't there, and if any man was there, he was not teaching them about serving. And my father was a servant of servants.
Yes, he was.
I mean, he was, oh man, my dad was an amazing, terrific guy. And because of the things that he taught me, that God taught him, he instilled in us. And he told us, think about Christ. Like, see how he served? I mean, he was God's son, but yet he still washed a prostitute's feet at the well. So how can you have your nose too high up to not serve somebody? And now, guess what? I get to now entangle my serving heart for somebody. I'm gonna look. This is right here. See, that set me up. He said, if I can serve someone who's a stranger, imagine how much I'm gonna serve someone who I'm above. Come on, Chi. Come on. You serious? Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that. But it's the
Y'all better catch
real.
this
It's the real.
replay. And you bringing your babies up to learn to serve.
Yes.
Again, what we do
What's the
here.
Yeah. The culture.
Oh, okay. Let me get my life together. Okay. Yeah, okay. How can they find you? And then do you guys have anything that is upcoming that the people and the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and or the state and or nationally can bless your organization, be a part of, donate? How can people find you and what's coming up?
So all of our social media platforms are servanthood.servetoday. So that's Facebook and that's Instagram. And our website is servetoday.info. So simple, easy. On there, that's where we post our upcoming events. We have not posted our next event because it's not until November. So that will be posted soon. But we're still serving in the community wherever we find need. We put on our t-shirts and we go out. And we usually go out every Sunday in Lancaster. And we pick up trash and we see someone says, hey, can you give me some water? Sometimes we have people that walk from there's no bus system in Lancaster. So people walking, giving plasma. You may see someone that may not have what they need. And so they'll stop and say, hey, can I have some water? Or, I need prayer. We've had people come up to us and assume or just see the lights there and ask us for prayer or pray with us. So we are just making ourselves visible in the community wherever we can. And then our larger events are quarterly. So our next event is in November. And so it'll be posted on our website and all our social media platforms, but definitely follow us. And you can see where we are, what we're doing. We also will be posting the different organizations that will be partnering with leading up to that event, because we'll have a big, whatever the case may be. So we're excited. We're opening doors and getting opportunities and partnering with the city of Lancaster. They've provided us items when we've had events because they believe in what we're doing. So we're excited about what's going on and what's happening.
Servetoday.info.
Yep, that's our website.
Got it. Okay, I think, and that's in the chat. So guys, listen, go follow them on the social media handles. Go to their website. What's the best email to contact you?
Servetoday, servetoday.info.
Okay. Got it. Perfect. Guys.
And there's something about that serve today.
Awesome. Got it. Okay. Guys, thank you. This was awesome.
Thank you.
This was awesome. Guys, again, if you didn't learn anything else tonight, just remember these three things: love, business, love, family, and business. Okay? The standard first have set the standard.
Oh
Have
my
created
goodness. Thank you, Chi.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
of
Thank you.
love,
I love
family,
it.
and business. And everybody is involved. So if you
Yes.
weren't inspired tonight, push it on replay. I promise if you listen 2 to 3, that fifth time you're going to get it. Okay? Because this is exactly what we need to not only hear, but this is what we need to see. They're just not saying it, guys. They're doing it. And they're
Absolutely.
doing it out loud. The great thing that I love is that what you do, then what you guys are doing as a unit, as a union, as a family, at home, you're bringing it to the communities. You're bringing it to the world. You're bringing it to nearby cities. You're bringing it. You're bringing it. You done brought it. Okay. So we love that. And we got to get back to that. So I want to encourage the listeners again, like and share, share and like, and send this broadcast to someone who you know may be a little wavering in their relationship and or seeking a relationship. Show this to someone who has a family and you know they may have some challenges and concerns happening within their family dynamic. Send this to someone who wants to create a family business and don't know how to include and or incorporate the children.
Mm.
I'm telling you, this is a 3-level component that you do not want to sit on. There were nuggets brought out today. There were gems dropped. There were seeds indeed planted on tonight. So I want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, and thank you. And we hope to see you guys again. Guys,
Most
we
definitely.
love you. We appreciate you. Have a great night. We'll see you
You
next time.
too. Thank you.
Thank you.